Chris Waller, firstly, just looking at your Derby Day runners and especially the first two races with those horses coming out of the Reginald Allen, Aliana in the Carbine Club, Good Sort in the Vanity. It was a bit of a messy race, especially for a horse like Good Sort last time out.
Yeah, she's a promising filly, and the beauty of the spring here in Australia is they get a few opportunities. So she's coming down to Melbourne in good form. Very unlucky. James McDonald won on Aliana. His first thing he said was, lucky the stablemate didn't get out. So fortunately for Good Sort's sake, she gets another opportunity this weekend.
And I guess there's the option now, as you say, of a Carbine Club. You've got the Vanity for the fillies. There's also the 1400 metre race on Cup Day as well. As you say, there are options for the 3-year-olds at this time of year.
Yeah, it's great how the 1,000 Guineas has been extended out to the later part of the spring. We've had the Flight Stakes in Sydney for Group 1 3-year-old fillies, and the next lot, or the next wave, get their opportunity. So we were fortunate enough to win the race last year with Jolly Star, and she's running in the Golden Eagle this Saturday. But the next wave, your Good Sorts, Alianas, get their chance to prove themselves. So Aliana, she looks like she's a promising filly. She's running in the Carbine Club. We've used the Carbine Club over the last few years as a successful launching pad. Horses like Fangirl, Kovalika, and even other horses that haven't won the race. So yeah, that's the unique part of the Australian spring. There's so many opportunities, and people in Hong Kong will get to see their horses running and hopefully get to Hong Kong one day.
Looking ahead to the first of the Group 1s, the Coolmore Stud Stakes, you've got the two runners. Firstly, Switzerland. The way that he won the Roman Consul, he didn't have anything to take him into the race, which suggests that the straight really should suit him.
Yeah, we're quietly confident with Switzerland, but respecting it's a very good field this year, and it's a big field, a little bit of luck in running, but it's a straight race, as people are aware of in Hong Kong. It can take a little bit of luck out of the equation, but at the same time, we need to be on the right side of the track and little things like that. But Switzerland's coming down with good Sydney form. The run in the Roman Consul was very good. They ran at a strong pace, and he was very sharp the last 600 metres of the race. He's adapted well to the straight. He had a trial 8 days prior, so last Friday, and seemed to go well, and James McDonald's aboard, and he's a confident jockey, and he thinks he's got the right horse underneath him to run well.
And Gatsby's, he's a horse that a few of the Hong Kong teams saw because he was spelling alongside the Hong Kong Jockey Club yearlings that are heading up for the sale in the future. So they saw him in April, and he's a horse that, again, looks like he's got plenty of talent, but he's just still learning his craft a little bit.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he won impressively first up back in Sydney. Since then, things haven't really gone his way. He did run in Switzerland's race last start, the Roman Consul. Gatsby's was back near last, and he came around them where Switzerland came through or came inside them. So although the margins were a lot different, I'd still respect his run, and the blinkers go on. And the Coolmore is a unique race. You can get a few upsets, but it's a great form race. Whatever wins the Coolmore runs top three. They're horses to follow for the future.
Looking ahead to the Empire Rose, a tissue, was there any temptation to run her in a Cox Plate instead of bringing her to Cup Week?
Well, she's just so brilliant at Flemington. Her best form seems to be at Flemington. She peaks for the Cup Week, and yeah, it gives me an opportunity to separate our horses as well. So we've got a big team, and when you know that a horse is a track specialist at Flemington, it makes the decision a little bit easier. And the 7-day backup has been successful for her in the past. So there's so many things to suggest that running in the Empire Rose is the right race, and I think she's favourite. So the punters also agree with my decision, which is pleasing to know. And that's something we do respect. And then, of course, on to the final day, which she won last year impressively in the Champion Stakes.
Just looking at the Melbourne Cup quickly, you've got 4 runners in the field at the moment, a couple just on the cusp. Firstly, Buckaroo. You don't often see a Caulfield Cup trial into a Melbourne Cup as good as what Buckaroo produced, and he's just an absolute flying form at the moment.
Yeah, he's got some great form behind the right horses. So he won a weight for age race in Sydney before coming down. He won the Underwood impressively over 1800. He then ran second in the Turnbull, but he was beaten narrowly by Via Sistina, and we saw what she did in the Cox Plate last week. So a second in the Caulfield Cup, but finishing the race off really well gave us the confidence to suggest that he can get 2 miles, which is our only query, because he has the right form into the race, certainly here from Australia. So yeah, I think from form, he's our number 1 seed. Whether he's our number 1 seed in terms of stamina, I'm not sure. So Land Legend, Mr. Ho's horse from Hong Kong, he's done very well in Australia. He's won a Group 1 race and a St. Ledger. So he's in good form. I think he was a little bit underdone in the Caulfield Cup. He was very fresh. Going to the start, he gave Zach Burton a hard time. And in the race, it didn't change. He was very, very fierce. So we've done everything we can to just switch him off a little bit without flattening him. So lots of long, slow work. Haven't taken the speed out of him, we hope. But we just want to just bring him back and just temper him a little. So he'll have the earmuffs on. They don't work for all horses, but we can't win the race if he's over racing. So we've got no choice to put them on, do the other things behind the scenes with his work just to get him to relax better for Zach. And if Zach can get him to switch off and settle, he'll run the 2 miles.
And to have a jockey like Zach aboard to build on that Hong Kong link with Mr. Ho, it must be great to get a jockey of his calibre for Land Legend.
There'd be 10 top 10 jockeys in the world, and Zach is certainly one of them, and he'd be right up the top. So Hong Kong's very fortunate to have him, and he's continued to evolve, continued to get better. And yeah, it's great to have him back here in Australia, and he keeps the local boys and girls sharp. They've got to be good to beat Zach Burton. We get to see him racing Wednesday nights and Sundays in Hong Kong, and we're in full admiration of what he's done and what he's continuing to do. So having him aboard in the Melbourne Cup, which he's obviously won before, is a big coup.
Kovalika, a horse that is a little bit maligned because he hasn't won for a long time since that Queensland Derby, but he's a horse that has run so well so often.
Yeah.
What do you make of him getting up to the 2 miles?
I think it's a plus. Yeah, he hasn't raced over 2,400 metres or beyond since he won the Queensland Derby, which was impressive. Money talks, and we tried to win an Golden Eagle this day last year. It's 1,500 metres at his home track, and it just didn't work out at all. So he's finally back up to a longer distance race. He's coming out of a good second placing over 1,900 metres last start, and up to the 2 miles. In fact, he ran the Cox Plate, of course. So yeah, he's had the mileage. He's coming out of the Cox Plate, and hopefully he's ready to run 2 miles.
And Valiant King, a horse that you've only had for this season. What have you made of him and his progression?
Lovely horse to work with, genuine stayer. Doesn't have the speed to be competitive in the lead-up races, but it's great to see that he's made the field, because his 2 mile form will be superior. So he's ready to peak, and that's what we're banking on.
He ran second to Vauban last year. Obviously, Vauban started favourite in the Melbourne Cup and comes back again, but obviously meets him a lot better at the weights.
Yeah, he's in the race really well with the weights. Look, I took some positive things out of his last start, which was 2,400. Stepping up to 2 miles and based on his work, he's ready to run well.
And Via Sistina, we can't let you go without talking about her. That Cox Plate win it was one for the ages.
Yeah, it was. She smashed the track record, which was quite unbelievable. The winning margin and the field she beat. It really was a good international race this year, as well as some 3-year-olds in there, keeping them honest. Australia's Horse of the Year last year, Pride of Jenny. So yeah, it was a good form race, and to see her do what she did, it was breathtaking. So we look forward to her racing on the last day, Champion Stakes over 2,000 metres.
Obviously not going to Hong Kong. I know that was a potential plan at one point. Is there a chance we could see her there maybe in April? And is there anything that you might have for Hong Kong, whether it be December or April?
Yeah, the team are very keen to get her to Hong Kong. Obviously, Hong Kong means a lot to them and us in terms of world racing and pride. The hardest thing we have is just with seasons, especially with a mare. She's come out of the northern hemisphere. She's now in the southern hemisphere. So we've got to get their cycles right and respect they're an animal. So just to take her out of the spring now, and then have to quarantine to come back, it really would have put us back, and she wouldn't have been able to compete in the autumn. So yeah, respecting they're an animal, respecting they're a horse, we'd love to have her at Hong Kong this year, but hopefully next year there's the opportunity as well.
Is there anything you might have for December this year?
We've got to get through Cup Week, and we're keen to get a stronger representation in Hong Kong. We love the racing up there. We respect the trainers. There's some great trainers, great horsemen, great jockeys, and you've got a good system. So yeah, hoping to get one or two up there.